What is up, everyone? In this video we are talking about the top 5 Disney video games. Now, Disney has made a ton of great games, and honestly I had a hard time narrowing it down to just 5 for this week, but I decided on these 5 games that I'll be talking about, and I'll talk about them a little bit, and hopefully you guys will agree with me because these are awesome games. The first game we are going to talk about today is Toy Story. Disney's Toy Story, to be exact, as well as you guys all know that these are all going to be Disney games, but Disney made some great games, and Toy Story is no exception. I love this game so much. It is so much fun, and if you like weird games that are based on good movies, this is definitely one you definitely need to check out. Now, a lot of games from movies don't turn into good games, but this one, honestly, I enjoy this one. It is a favorite of mine on the Sega Genesis. Now, that doesn't mean much because I have somewhat of a small Sega Genesis collection, maybe about 50 games, which isn't that much when you talk about the whole library, but this is definitely one that I like to put in and play. It is a bunch of fun, and if you want to play in the world of Toy Story, this is definitely the way you need to be doing that. So now we are moving on to the second game, and that is Mickey Mouse Capade. If you like the NES and you love platforming games and you want kind of a simple Disney game, this is definitely one I think you need to talk about. Now, it is a Capcom game, which is very interesting, but I very much enjoy this game. You can play with many as well later on, and honestly, I enjoy it. Now, if you're looking for the best of the best Disney games, I don't think this one's on there, but for this week, I think it needs to be on there because I've played this and had so much fun. If you like the 8-bit style of NES games or normally, this is one you definitely need to check out. It kind of reminds me of the adventures of Tom Sawyer. Maybe saying that I shouldn't because that game looks really bad, but kind of like that, but not so bad. So if you like that game, you'll like this game. If you don't like that game, you may like this one, but this one is a fun one. It's a decent game for sure, but I know that it receives a bunch of hate for some reason, but I think of this as a NES game that was from the 80s, and it's a lot of fun, so I think you definitely need to check this one out. So here we are at our third game, and honestly, we're back at the movie adaptations, and the next 3 are going to be movie adaptations, and I think that's because they're Disney, obviously, and they're very great at that. And this one is Jungle Book. Now, I have it in box, which means I have it complete, which is pretty awesome. The cartridge is in there as well. I have the cardboard version, which these are oftentimes much more destroyed than the plastic ones. But honestly, just looking back at the back of this, I understand why people love this game. And for some reason, Sega Genesis and Disney go perfectly together. Like, when I think of Sega Genesis games, I think of those early, very great Disney games, and Jungle Book is no less of that. You get to swing from vines, you get to throw things. Everything about this game is very awesome. The snake even shows up, and honestly, I enjoy this game, and a lot of people do, from what I understand, and I understand why. This is a fun game, and I definitely think you should add it to your list of Sega Genesis games that you want to play. So here we are winding down, and I've got 2 more left, obviously. And Lion King is the one I think is almost at the top, not quite there, but yes, it is great. If the other game wasn't on this list, this would be my number 1. Now, honestly, I thought I had this for the Sega Genesis as well, but I couldn't find the cartridge, so I grabbed the Super Nintendo cartridge, which I love the Super Nintendo, honestly, but for some reason, Disney games and the Sega Genesis just go together, like I said earlier. I had a Sega Genesis when I was a kid, and I had these kind of games, and so I think that's why I connect them. But definitely Lion King is one that you need to think about getting. It's a cheap game. All of these are really cheap, relatively cheap games, but they're a lot of fun, and you can get the most bang for your buck if you buy any of these games, because they're almost less than 10 bucks from what I kind of know about these games. but they are still always a lot of fun. Last but not least is my favorite game on the list, and honestly, this is a very hard game, but it is a very fun game, and that is Disney's Aladdin. Now, I thought about this kind of top 5 idea because the new Aladdin movie came out, and I was like, oh, I started thinking about this game. My friend and I today were actually talking about him going to see the Aladdin movie, and he said that it is one of his all-time favorite movies all around. So that got me thinking about this game, because anytime I think about Aladdin, I think of this, and honestly, I have so much fun with this game. It is so much hard. It is so hard that I cannot even talk right. So when I say I love this game, this is a definite game that you need to pick up. It is a hard one, but make sure you get the Sega Genesis version. Do not, I repeat, do not buy the Sega Game Gear version. It's not the same as this, and you will be very, very disappointed. I learned that myself, and it was a horrible mistake. But this game is very awesome, and I love it. So, with that being said, those are the top 5 of this week of Disney video games. Now, I know there's a ton more, and I want you to comment down below what your top 5 is, or at least what your top 1 is. So, with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification. With that being said, I just want to say thank you once again, and make sure you have a good day.